Okay, fine. 7,500 subs. We'll turbo a Ford Cat and we'll take it around Knockhill.
Was that chocolate? I thought you were opening a car part or something important.
Welcome back. Oh, fuck me. Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. Today we are sat in a nice car. You will find out at some point in the video what car we're in. The people that probably know will probably know. But we're doing finally back to an episode of Is It Shit or Is It Not? And the dead giveaway will all come up. But we're talking about BMW 3 Series and the equivalent of the Mercedes C-Class. So, same as last time, we'll talk about it, you'll see photos on the screen, and we'll talk of interesting facts about the cars. So obviously, Stuart, we all know Stuart, we love Stuart. He's the Wish.com James Dean. He knows his BMs quite well.
Fairly well.
Fairly well. Better than I do, certainly, 100%. So yeah, so might as well just crack on with the job and see what we think. So Stuart, the first ever 3 Series BMW ever made.
E21.
Yes. Did you know when they were made from until?
Oh, that would be a complete guess. It'd be 1980s beginning.
Nope.
1970s?
75 to 83.
75 to 83.
And they'd made 1.3 million units of them. To be exact, that much. 1,364,039. Which of 4,595 of them were actually soft tops. They were convertible the cabs. Which, that's not much in the grand scheme of millions to only 5,000 of them are a cab. Especially for that era. And it still is one of the best selling 3 Series model.
Yeah.
But that was where they brought out the M10 engine.
Rare to see now though.
Yes.
M21.
Yeah, aye. There's not many of them left. 4 cylinders, they had the M10 engine, so I think, was that the original line of the M engine? Like the M...
Yeah.
As we know now, the M75, the M57s and the M54s and all that.
M50s, M52.
Yeah. So...
But I think the M10, was it not a 4-cylinder?
It was a 4-cylinder, and then the M20 was actually a 6-cylinder, which they brought out in 1977.
Yeah, because my car that I compete in has an M20 flywheel in it. It was the last single mass flywheel.
Oh, what, in the Puro?
In the Puro Fighter.
No way!
Yeah, so I have a really botchery clutch. Like, it is an M20 flywheel, because of how light they are. Sweated the starter ring off of it, put an M54 ring on, still the same diameter, which is crazy.
That's wild.
Got like a pucked ceramic friction plate and a double sprung sachets, so it's a horrible thing to drive, but never slips. It never slips.
It does the job for you, in fairness, and everyone knows the Puro Fighter, of course, with the channel. So yeah, the E21 was actually the replacement of the 2 Series. Initially.
Right?
Yeah. Which were available in a 2-door sedan. Or as the coupe.
I never knew there was like a 2 Series before an E21.
Yeah, that's what it replaced. So there you go, you've learned something. So yeah, they came in 2 doors, so actually like this, a sedan. They came with a 1.6 engine, a 1.8 and the 2 litre. But then in 78 they brought out the 323i, which was the 6-cylinder, which was a 2.3. Quite a wild horse difference, from 90 horse from the 1.6 all the way up to 140 horse for the 6-cylinder. But then, you know, out of a 2.3, what's the 2.2 I've got? That's what, 170?
I think remapped as 170, but I think out the gate, are they not like 155 or something like that? I could be way off. But
I mean, probably not. But for a 2.2, which is slightly smaller, has more power out the bag for a 1.6. But they've not, you can see they've not done a huge difference between the M20 to the M54.
What's the 2.3 had 140 horse?
140 horse out of the 2.3, yeah. I can imagine they were probably quite good engines back in the day.
Probably, I can imagine they would have been the iron block still.
But the good 0 to 60 in the 1.6 at 14.8 seconds. But the 2.3 in fairness was an 8.7, that was quite quick for
8.7.
8.7 in the 323i. So that's quite fast for its day for 1978. Imagine you had a car that done 0 to 60 in 8.7 seconds.
That's pretty impressive.
That's quite impressive. But so the cheapest, they kind of for starting cost at £3,446 for a 21.
That's the starting cost.
That's
right?
the starting cost, and now you're picking them up for 8 to 15 grand.
Because if you're finding an E21 for £8,000, it's fucked.
Yeah.
You're buying it in a box of cornflakes.
But that's for the 1.6. But the 323 for 6.5 grand new, you're 25 to 30 grand for one now. It's crazy money.
Yeah.
But that's like the 1.6 there, and that was the 3.2.
The 6-cylinder.
Yeah, that's the 323i there. So it's kind of like the nice wheels and stuff. Obviously, you guys will see it in the things. But then onto the E30, which is where they've really opened up into millions of different styles.
And hash and drifters.
And yes, this is where it started. But yeah, 82 to... They actually, 12 years. 82 to 94. And they made 2.3 million.
Yeah.
They made a lot, but they had 4 different types, pretty much. Or 5, there was about 6 different types they made. So they had a huge time frame and a lot of different styles and models of them. So originally, they were introduced in 82, which I think was that not just... because they're still building the 21s in 83, but in 82 they had already introduced the E30, so a year prior to it all ending.
Well, it's the same with the 46, because you can get a 46 up to, is it a 2006? Because Laurie's 46 was a 2006.
Depends on when they were bought and registered.
But you can get a 55 plate E90. So you can get technically an older E90 as you can an E60.
Like
E46.
My wee Skoda, there's a guy down south who's got one the same, but it's actually a 2009 plate.
Right.
But they were stopped in 2007.
So it just wasn't registered until 2009, right?
So it's all down when it's registered.
Okay.
But yeah, they started obviously as a coupe, 2-door.
E30, the first M3 made.
Yes.
Yeah.
E30 is where the M3 line appeared.
The Motorsport 3.
Yes. They made the convertibles in 83, introducing the Estates in 85. So the Tourings appeared in 85. Oh no, 87, sorry. The Cabriolets were 85, sorry I read that wrong.
Alright.
So in 1985 the Cabriolets, the soft tops were made, and then 87 is where the first Touring appeared. I don't know if that was the first ever BMW Touring ever.
I wouldn't know, but I
don't want to comment, but I would think it's probably not far off it. Yeah, it was the first available in white. Yeah, there you go. And a four-door and all-wheel drive. The Evo.
Yeah. Aye.
Yeah. So they came in a 4-wheel drive system as well. With the 325iX model, which is also the Z1 Roadster. It was based off that. So the Z1 Roadster was based off the E30 325iX.
I'm surprised you got E30s in 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, I didn't know that, to be fair. But they were very rare. But yeah, as we already said, the first model of the M3, with nearly 18,000 of them made. So it was quite a relatively large amount, but in the scale of 2.3 million, 18,000 isn't a big number. But the rarest was not the M3, but the
M3 Evo. Or
the M3 Evo, but it was actually the 320IS.
Oh, really?
With only 3,745 of them being made. So that was a 2-litre, 6-cylinder.
The
IS.
Was it a 6-cylinder?
I think so. I'd have to look it up. I will put it specs there because Oh, hold on, actually, I'll have the specs.
He'll put whether or not Stuart was right or Alistair was right here.
But that's the 325IS, but it's either going to be a 6 or a 5, a 6 or a 4 cylinder, but there was not many made
No.
at all. Like I've never ever seen one.
I think I've maybe seen one M3 E30 ever. I think
I've seen 2 when I was down south and shit. Like when you go down south, you see more of these things.
I've maybe seen them at a car show, but you see a
Yeah.
lot of M3 replicas built. But I know the only one I've ever seen on the road was actually in Galley Shields. I have no idea whose it would be.
Because there was definitely, I know of a
But this was
36 M3 that was kicking about blue.
I've seen that.
It's gone now, but it was Big Lee that had it.
He lived up where Michael used to live. Up
yeah,
on.
yeah. Big Lee, yeah, that's where he lived.
No, I seen an E30 and it looked like it was an M3 or it was an M3 replica. But
I'm just trying to
it's
think.
the only one I've ever seen. But that was years ago.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if I ever seen it. I can't remember, but prices of them though is wild. But you know, not to 60 E30 was a 7.4 to 60, but that was probably like your 6 cylinders, like your 325i.
Ah, you would say so.
But you know, new they were starting from £8,995 up to £15,290. But now you know, for a really good clean one, you're looking about £9,000 to £15,000 for a clean E30, like probably a 325.
Yeah, they're still not horrendous price. It's
No,
funny.
you can pick a few up, but there's so many of them. There is still a lot.
Aye.
But M3s were a 6.7 seconds to 0 to 60, which was quite fast.
What were they? A 3 litre?
2.5. No, they might have been the 3.2.
Jeez,
It's a lot of money, but now for a really good one, you know, I was finding them up.
60k and up.
Yeah.
Up to 150k.
Yeah, for the Evo,
Aye.
which there's actually 2 Evos. So you had the M3, the M3 Evo 1, the M3 Evo 2, the M3 Sport, and then Evo.
Oh, you got them written there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So 2.5 straight 6 for the Evo 1 was a 2.3 cylinder,
Right.
and then I don't know why they were the S14 B25 and a 2.5 straight 4 as well.
I don't know much about my E30 M3s, to be fair.
Nah, but that one would have been the 6. I think the M3 was a 6 cylinder, but it is also saying it was the 2.3. But you know, like 240 horse there pretty much for the M Sport.
Aye.
The M3 Sport Evo, which I've never ever seen one,
No.
and they're worth stupid money. Those, like, I think they were only in America though.
Mhm.
You know.
They're very light though.
Aye.
Like an E30, they're just they're a
Had
tiny car.
had weights for them somewhere. Where did they put the weights? Look at the end. But yeah, they are small cars. Like
Oh yeah, definitely. Like compare it to like even a. You
36.
compare it to an E90, and the E90 just dwarfs it.
Yeah.
Compared to like even a 36, the 36 is still a bigger car.
But yeah, there were so many different 36s, E30s. You know, as I say, you got your 316, 323s, your 325s, 325IS, 325iX, your M3 Evo 1, blah blah. You know, there's a lot of different models. Like they really did make variant. But then, you know, they finished and quite quickly after brought out the E36.
Everybody's favourite.
I quite like a 36, I'm not gonna lie.
Everybody likes a 36, but nobody wants to pay.
Stupid thousands for one now.
Yeah, like I don't think I've ever spent more as £800 for a 46
That's a lie.
until now. Yeah. Aye.
But yeah, I know what you mean for like the drifters.
A non M346.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aye. So so we're on to the E36, which ran from 1990 to 97 or 1991 to 98, depending where you were. I think Germany launched them earlier, and like the UK got them a year later.
Aye.
That happened a lot, but you know, at 1,460 kg, they're relatively heavy.
I'm surprised at that weight.
Yeah, I was quite shocked at that when I looked into it.
Yeah.
3 million, just over 3 million were made, and they're ranging from 90 horse to 282 horse.
Mm-hmm.
M3 was 320 in the later models.
Yeah.
Because that's where they went to the 3.2.
Yeah, because they started in a 3 litre.
Yes.
And then it was the S52 B32. So the S50 B30,
Yeah.
which there's tons of them about, but for some reason there's not many 3.2s.
No.
Was the 3.2s just made right at the end? were they?
Later, the later models, aye. Brand new, they were really weirdly priced. Like, I was looking at it, it's quite difficult to find original pricing on cars.
Yeah.
But it was saying around the £2,000 mark. I thought it was a bit cheap. Considering the E30, you had some at like...
I can imagine the compacts and that would have been pretty cheap,
I
because they
suppose,
were
yeah.
kind of the sort of...
Compact, yeah. Because this is where the compacts came in, was the 36. Yeah.
They were the entry sort of car.
Mm-hmm. They were cheap, like 36s were cheap, but then up to 10 grand, so you're top of the range.
Your M3s and that.
No, the M3 brand new was 32,450.
Oh, really?
Yeah, brand new. Now they're costing between 10 to 40 grand.
Yeah, that
For
doesn't sound about right.
Shit one to a good one. But a 9.9 seconds to 60, or in the M3, which is a 5.3, it's quite a big jump from the last M3.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm going to already put it out there, I think the 36 is pretty fucking cool. Especially the M3, I like the M3s.
They're everybody's kind of like go-to.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you look at like Ogilvy's car, like I think that's probably just like, he's not done too much to it. It still looks like kind of, if you seen that out in the road, you'd be like,
Isn't it? It's a 36,
that's just a nice 36.
Is it the one? Aye, because he's the one with the wee spoiler.
Mike Max,
Yeah.
Saloon, that's a nice one.
Is it the saloons or was it the coupes that had the wee spoiler in the back? Which one was it?
What do you mean, on the roof?
No, like actually like on the boot.
Well, some of them came with lips and some of them didn't.
Aye, because they had like the wee, kind of like that, but tiny. Obviously.
Oh, right, yeah. Folk put them on the coupes, like the...
Aye, but some came out of the factory like that, and I really liked them.
I don't know which ones came like that.
I have a photo, I know that.
But a few folk used to do that.
I liked them, to be fair. Like, I think for me, at the moment, I think it goes the 36 to the E30 in my list, and then it'll be like E21. So it'll be 36, 30, 21 in my list so far, because that's how I do it as well. We rank at the end.
Yeah.
But currently for me, that's how it goes. But yeah, there were a lot made. In fairness, they had a lot made, but they were just improving, technology. And then
More competition from other car companies as well.
exactly, there were fast cars. Like, that's fast.
Oh yeah, 5.3
For
seconds
90s,
is fast.
that's fast.
It's fast, like if you brought that out today, it's fast.
Like, that's contending for the B5 RS4. Like,
yeah.
that was up there. They were 4 something. I think they were 4.9 seconds, but that's not far off it.
Why would you want to buy an Audi?
I know, right? Glad I'm not one. Glad I don't own an Audi. So, yeah, but then that brings us into the 46.
God's gift.
The 46 era, which Stuart has 3, I have 1, and then Stuart's partner Laurie has 1 too. So there's a lot of them going around here just already. Like,
I
there's
may have owned though, because I had the 320D.
320D.
Then I bought the Puro Fighter.
Yeah.
Then I bought your one.
Then I bought it off you.
Then you bought it off of me. Then I bought...
That one.
No. Then I bought Laurie's
Oh yeah, Laurie's.
silver car that was the OG Laurie car.
Yeah, sorry, because hers was reshelled.
And then...
No, that's 5.
No. And then 5 is Laurie's reshell.
320, Puro Fighter, compact, Laurie's OG.
Yeah, the engine, all that's out of.
Ah, yeah. And then Laurie's 1 currently.
Yeah.
Then the
turbo.
Turbo.
Then, well, I don't know if you'd count the donor car, that silver donor car.
It's technically still 46 you had.
Then the M3.
And then as we are...
The
you haven't-
846.
Yeah, the
I've
8...
never owned a 36. And never owned an E90 or an E92 yet.
Yet, it'll come.
That's on the bucket list.
So,
And the 36s as well. But
the giveaway, we are actually sitting inside an E46 M3.
yeah.
Which was one of Stuart's favourite cars.
It's definitely the coolest car I think I've ever bought.
I don't know, I think your first car was pretty cool.
The 320D?
No, your
My first ever car.
First ever car was so manly.
I would like to see this in a drag race versus that.
I think that would win. Sorry.
The first car?
Yeah, your first ever car that you put into a wall.
What engine are them again?
1 litre? Was it a 1 litre?
No, they're bigger than that. I think they're a 1.3, and then the sports are like a 1.6.
Maybe. You put that into a
But-
fucking dry stone dike.
Yeah.
About 3 weeks after you passed. Was it not?
Oh, it was pretty quick, like.
It was fast.
It was in the snow.
What was it again, Stuart? Was it a Ford Ka?
Might have been a Ford car.
So,
The thing that you tried to, the day I met you, tried to rip the fucking handbrake through the ceiling.
yeah, I was
Tried to roll it. Tried to roll the car sitting in the passenger seat like that. And it just about done it, like.
God, I'd go back to those days. Honestly, I would.
I remember it had a sunglasses net, like an elastic sunglasses
Yes.
net, right? And if you pinged it, the whole car would ring a wee bit. It would go like dong.
It was so shit.
But Christ, I bought that for like 1,100 quid.
Holy fuck! Just roll it. And you did roll it. You properly coped it, didn't you?
No, it
Or
went
did you
on 2 wheels, but it never
sided
rolled
it?
over.
Yeah,
it never rolled right over.
You put it through the dike.
Yeah.
That
it was on a back road, and it was when we left the fuel station, it was black roads. When we got to that point, it was like
White.
2 inches of
White out.
snow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
And
quite.
just too much power.
Scott, way too much power.
Yeah.
It was a wild
How many
car.
horse are they? Like 66?
Give or take.
Yeah, aye.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Probably about 900 kilos though.
And I think they're about 8, mate.
That's with driver.
But put in perspective, Stuart's about 6'3".
I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
I think I weigh about 95 kilos.
And you seen this fucking giant getting out of this little Ford Ka. It was quite comical.
I think the seat was like as far back as it could go.
Surprised you didn't cut a hole out the back so you could go even further or remove the back seats. Back seats? I would.
It did. Well, it had 2 back seats.
I would have
It
liked
didn't
to
even
sit
have 3.
behind you.
No. Although people did.
Considering there's not much space between you here, and that's probably you in a comfortable seating position.
It is actually. That's my driving position.
Yeah.
But like, realistically, kind of, we had passengers. I could scooch forward a wee bit.
Yeah. Let's put into categorising, as we talked about it briefly. Ford Ka, fucking shit. Sorry, Stuart.
I would still like to like buy one and then turbo it. Do something like that. That would be hilarious.
Oh god.
Somebody did that on TikTok. They had a Ford Ka and they had it like with a massive intercooler and turbo.
You know what?
I don't think it ran right once.
For the 10,000 sub, I'm putting out now, so you guys better get some subs getting in. 10,000 subs, we're going to build a turboed Ka.
I'd say 5,000.
Nah, 10.
5.
5,000, nah, this deserves 10.
Like, but once this is finished building, this M3, and I've like 8 HP'd the turbo, what are we doing? Just sim driving every night? We've got to have another build.
The Rust Ready will have something needing done to it.
Yeah.
Depends on what I decide to do. We just need to get some subs in and we'll turbo a Ford Ka.
Right, we'll split the difference, 7.5.
Okay, fine. 7,500 subs, we'll turbo a Ford Ka and we'll take it around Knockhill.
Yeah.
And see if it lasts or not. And we have to abuse it. We can't just be easy on it.
That or a rally.
Oh. A rally stage. Do a Jim,
Aye.
not a Jim Clark.
No,
but
that's too expensive.
Do the rally up at Knockhill. You know how you get the rallies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, rally Knockhill.
Right, comments. Rally or track the turboed Ford Ka that we're going to build. And then if it survives, should we raffle it?
Oh, yeah. But
Or
like
should we keep it
for like dirt cheap?
Yeah, or should we keep it?
We'll do like 100 tickets at like £1 or something like that.
Yeah. Why Why not? That's a plan. So, guys, if you've listened this
It's
far,
actually an inconvenience to win it.
yeah, you don't
like,
want it.
This car that doesn't exist yet, like some granny's currently driving it right now, we're going to buy it for like 50 quid, turbo it for like 200 quid probably.
And put a family of ducks on the
On the dashboard.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a family of ducks.
Like, I'm going to have to fully fiberglass the thing.
Yes.
Roll cage it.
Yes. Should we just use course for roll cage? Like what I
Course.
make. You know how I make the course for the nerve?
Like cardboard course.
Yeah.
I don't know how we'd get into like a rally with that. That's the thing.
I know a guy.
Actually, I don't know if you could. I'm not sure if you're allowed fiberglass panels for a rally. I would need to look into that.
I think it's carbon Kevlar, most of it.
I think it's alloy.
Like bumpers and that, I think are carbon Kevlar.
Oh yeah, bumpers is a
Yeah.
different story, but I was more meaning like
Might
door
just have to leave.
replacements.
We just might have to leave it without. Maybe we can't get away with fiberglass, and it's maybe a good point.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when.
We'll make a core roll cage, and I'll write on it identify as metal.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, they can't. But anyway, we're sidetracked. Back to
Get back to
the
BMWs.
E46, which these were actually lighter than the 36. But I think that's because I missed out the compact on that, to be honest. So I can imagine it's probably down the same weight as.
Yeah, I can imagine a compact's not weighing 1.5 ton.
No, exactly. So for the E46, the compacts were down at 1,285.
Right.
And then the Tourings were up at the 1,800 mark, which is actually the same weight as my Audi.
I can imagine that's all the electric seats and like all the
Aye,
options.
because they were from 97 to 2006. They're relative modern now. But they went from 103 horse, which was the 1.8,
Right,
which is what was in my compact.
originally.
Yeah. Up to the 355 horsepower.
This was 333.
Yeah.
So I think that must have been CSL was 355.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
3.2.5 million made. 85,000 of them being M3s.
Jeez, oh.
This was quite a mass-produced car.
Yeah.
Like that's not a small figure. Like between the last two M3s, there's still more 46 M3s made between the E30 and 36 M3s.
Yeah, that would
By
explain
double.
it. That would explain why these are so much more common.
Yeah, it's not cheap though.
They're still not cheap, no, for how mass produced they were.
Yeah.
But I think that was because folks stripped them. Like when you used to be able to buy an M3 engine for like $2,000, it was like
Aye.
they were fucking chucking them out and into every
Yeah.
drifter.
I don't know how much we missed, but we talked of how many M3s were made. I think we got that, but we got onto the M3 CSL at £60,000 new, and this M3 that we're in was £43,000 brand new. That's not cheap, in my eyes. You know, it's quite a bit more than what even the original M3. You know, it's still £10,000 more than the E36. But to pick up one of these now, you're looking at around 9,000 up to 26,000 for a really good one.
Yeah.
9 for a shit one,
Yeah, something that's rough.
or one that's been hit by a fence post,
Yeah.
which is less than that.
I paid less than that.
Yes. But then your CSLs, they're a different fucking ball game. But you're over 100 grand for one,
Yeah.
easy. Do you ever see the one that sat down in London? It was in an underground car park. The boy bought it from BMW, brand new, drove it underground where he lived, parked it up, and it was sat there until last year. Hadn't moved since. It had 6 miles on the clock.
Wow.
Somebody went up, got the VIN plate, filled in all the paperwork, and fucking got the V5.
Mental.
Yeah, it's mad that.
And
Nobody knows what happened.
I have seen one.
I've seen one too. I think
Was
that
it the one that was in Earlston?
probably, yeah.
It got brought up from down south.
I seen it in Gala.
Actually driving or?
On the ramp, driving. I was underneath it, like inside, underneath it, everything. I got a proper look.
Really? Where was it?
Johnny's.
Oh, right.
He was working on it. Yeah, he was working on it.
Rare. Rare
They
car.
are very rare, but 100 grand for pretty much this car.
With lighter and a tune and...
More cabin fibre.
Yeah.
Cabin fibre. An E46 would do a 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. Thereabouts. Like my compact probably would have definitely been that with it being light.
What? As a
So-
1.8?
Yeah, it would be a bit slower.
8 seconds?
Yeah, it would be a bit slower. It gets
I reckon
light,
maybe
though.
down a hill, like 8 seconds.
Ah, yeah, if got
Yeah.
a downhill effect, yeah. A bit of fucking,
Not along a
a
flat.
bit of physics involved. But the M3s, I think the CSL were a 4.8.
Was that the CSL, was it?
I think so, yeah. Because that was the fastest speed that I could find. 260.
Well, what was the E36 M3? They were 5.3.
5.3, so you know, they've knocked 5 seconds off. With the same engine, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. Like,
No.
that's not bad at all. Like, I know it sounds like half a second, like, fuck all, but when it comes to when you're into the 4 or 5 seconds, like, when you're in below 6 seconds, that's a big jump. But,
You can't beat the noise, though.
no, I do have to admit, I do like the sound of the straight six in these cars.
Yeah.
That and Porsche's straight six. I like
Flat
the-
6.
Flat six, sorry, yeah. I like a Porsche flat six.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the RS and all that, they sound wild.
Like the GT3 RSs, yeah. Aye.
That's just a different ball game.
Aye, but
I have had a
pay
shot.
a lot of money for
Yeah,
them.
I've had a shot on a GT3,
Right.
but it's like, you know, in this day and age, like, you've got like the Golf R line or something like, or the ST line. It's like, it's almost an ST, but it's just missing something. But it's got like all the,
Do you mean the GT3 that, let's face it, will never own one?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a shot in a GT3
Unless it's been smashed into a wall
and
at Mac Jesus.
I bought it.
And like you
From
can just
Copart or
like
something.
sit inside it because like
Aye.
the steering wheel's like up here
And the foot pedal, you
and
can
the
use
foot
your...
pedals are like also touching the steering wheel,
yeah,
but you
like-
can just get under it
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
go. This is a GT3.
Yeah, I'm driving a GT3 now.
Yeah. And then like
Yeah. No, this, it's a friend of my dad's, has a GT3, the 991. Is it the 911? It's the original GT3, like
and
the
we
first
have
one.
like a flashing banner of no one cares.
Oh.
We're talking about BMW here.
It sounded awesome!
No one cares. Right here. Make it flash, Alistair.
I will. I'll make
I
some.
wish you had like an editor. You know how Markiplier goes Lixian?
I'm the editor!
Oh. Alistair. No one cares right here.
Fine.
Make it flash.
Fucking put it in. We'll talk about a Porsche another day. But the E46, I do like the M3 in fairness. Again, so for me, like at this point in time, it definitely goes. For me, it goes like the E36, the M3 46
Mm-hmm.
definitely slots in.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the E30, then it's like E4, the rest of the E46s, then it's the E21. Like E46s themselves, I don't hugely like, especially the compact. As much as I own a compact, I fucking hate it.
They are ugly, like.
They're stinking.
Yeah.
Horrible cars. Like, they are so shit. In fact, like, I think the 46 compact was pretty. Like, maybe not shit, but it was fucking close to. Mind you, you have to remember my compact did come with a 2.5 in it as well.
Oh, like, yeah, your model, yeah.
Yeah. So that's maybe where the 8 seconds are from.
Possibly.
Ah, that'd been faster than 8 seconds. With a 2.5 in it.
I don't know, 8 seconds is still, like, it's not to
It's
be
not.
sniffed at.
No, like in a car that weighs less than 1,300.
I would say, personally, I think, favourites wise, it would have to go, like, a good-looking 36 at the top. Then I would say 46 and E92 are close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do love like, as much as I love the E46 M3, it's been my dream car for so long. The sound of an E92 M3,
V8.
the V8,
I wanted to get one of them, in fairness.
and also you look at James Dean's Eurofighter.
Oh, it's
like,
awesome.
Just, aye.
Yeah, like I in fairness, when I was getting my first RS4, it was between an E92
And the RS4.
or the RS4, and I went with our RS4.
What's cheaper? What is cheaper though?
They were the same price.
E92s and RS4s are the
Aye,
same
they were
price.
the same
are they?
price, roughly, yeah. But of talking of E92s, that brings us into the E90s. which takes us from 2004, which actually was 2 years before, you know, so there's the difference there. E90s were started in 2004, when the 46s went into 2006, so that's what you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
But they go into 2010, the 90s. Again,
E90s?
yeah, they went all the way.
2010?
Yeah, they went up to 2010.
No. They went past that.
It could be just when they were registered, but I don't think I've seen one certainly newer than an 11 plate.
No, because you got the E90s and you got the LCI E90, which is just a facelift.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But you got them like right up till like a 62, 63 plate. Yeah.
But
I think 62.
E90s had some wild builds though.
Oh yeah.
They had some mental things kick in.
They're basically like, I would like to think they're pretty much like a bigger 46.
Well, they are really. They're just slightly
Very different looking.
Yeah, very
But
chunky in the front end. I find big grill like a.
Aye.
Yeah. But like their weights, to be honest, there's not much difference between the 90s and the 46. Like they are 1,400 kilo lightest.
I'm surprised at that because yeah.
And they're up pretty much the same weight as a touring.
So obviously
46.
a lot of our people we go drifting with, they use the E92s, they use the E90s. Like you've got Michael Henderson uses E90s.
Yeah.
I would love to drive an E90 around the track.
It would be interesting to see what they're like.
Because it's sort of coming in that they're becoming the cheap ones now.
Yeah. But you know, like they've got out of the M3 line, you know, they're going from 120 horse to 302 horse.
Oh, like yeah. Before
we got into the M3
yeah,
line.
Yeah, the 335i.
Yeah. And you know, 300 horse wasn't silly, and then you know they had their 2-litre diesels, 2-litre petrols, their 3-litre 3-cylinder diesels and petrols.
3-cylinder?
6-cylinder, sorry, 3-litre 6-cylinder.
3 litres, yeah.
But they had the twin turbo at this point.
335, yeah.
So yeah, as you said, the 335, which was the diesel one.
Not a twin turbo though. They're bi-turbo. They're 2 turbos.
Aye, on the.
They're different sizes.
3-litre diesel, which they
both.
Yeah, but if you had the 3-litre diesel one, you could map them and put them up to silly fucking power.
Aye. A lot of people put them as single turbo, I think, because they were a wee bit unreliable.
Yeah, they're torquey though. Very torquey. I've seen people like 800-900 horse newton meters of torque just out of a map.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy torque in them.
The is that for the diesel then?
Yeah.
They were aye.
They were stupid torquey. But overall there was 3 million models made in the E90s. 1,400 of them were the M3, which was a 4-litre V8.
So how's that compared to 46?
How
many was made of the 46?
There was 85,000 of them made in the 46, down to 14,000 in the E90s. E92. Aye.
That's crazy.
Fucking loads of 46s made.
Jeez, oh. They must have been preparing for folk to just strip them.
Clearly. But the 420 horse out of the V8.
Yeah.
And 4.6 seconds to 60, which is the fastest one yet.
I remember I was driving towards Berwick. You know, you've got the Cornhill roundabout and then you've got the top roundabout for Berwick, closest to the border. So you've got the south and basically top end of Berwick roundabouts. So it's dual carriageway anyway.
Yes.
And I was going towards the north one, and just as it you come right up to the top of the hill and you come back down towards the roundabout, and coming up the hill the other way was an E92 M3, and it was full chap, and it must have had a nice intake on it because you could just hear it, like the intake coming and then leaving. It was just 2 totally different notes.
Yeah,
it just sounded insane. Oh, it was.
My Audi's like that too. When you're at the front end, it's a different tone, and when it's past, it's like. So really high pitched at the front, and then when it passes, a really low tone.
Aye. Like the turbo, it sounds like any turbo car for the rear.
Yeah.
But at the front, it has a nicer note to it.
I love the sound.
Aye.
Wild car. But as I say, this is where they started going nuts.
Price wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're picking up a E90 around the 40 grand mark. This is where BM hiked. This is the era where their prices just went. And for the top of the range before the M was 60 grand for an E90. That would have been probably the touring or something. 60 grand.
Right.
Fucking nuts. But yeah, an M3 base cost of 50,000. That's before you fucked around with them. But then they brought out the CRT in Europe
Right.
at £130,000. That they were nuts though. Like they were. Have you ever seen one?
A CRT? No.
You know,
No.
they're like wild. Like they were like aggressive as fuck.
I'm guessing they were like
They were
similar
like,
to a CSL.
yeah, pretty much, but they were like full track cars.
We forgot about Alpinas in the 46s.
Oh shit, yeah, we forgot about the Alpinas, yeah.
Pretty cool.
They make Alpinas in 46, there we go.
Yeah, well done.
They look quite cool.
They look cool.
Quite rare now.
They are. There's one in Gala and it's rough as fuck.
It's fake.
No, it's
I'm
not.
sure it's fake.
No, it can't
Have
be.
you seen the guy that drives it?
To be fair, you can pick Alpinas up pretty cheap still.
Really? I thought
And
they
for
were...
how rough that is, I reckon that car, if he tried to sell it, it'd probably make £2,000.
It's got like half a door.
I know. What, with the amount of rot in it?
And the sills are like nearly
I hope
non-existent.
this guy doesn't see this.
So,
I like,
can we buy it off you? If
can
you
I have
watch
the
it?
engine?
Yeah. What's in it?
3.3, I'm sure.
Yeah, can we have it? Can you just give
Apparently
us
they come fully forged. I was
Yeah.
speaking to that James Pickering that does all the turbo
Who?
BMs.
it? Ooh!
Not Ronnie Pickering.
Ronnie Pickering!
And he's got the Alpine engine in his, and he reckoned he opened it up and it was like all forged or something like that.
That's wild.
And I was just like, fucking hell.
But, you know, like for the E92 M3, you're 14,000 to 30 grand for a decent one now. And the CRTs, fuck, if you can find one, they're 180 grand.
Jesus.
That's the mark. Like, that's around the mark.
Aye.
But that brings us into the Fs.
F30s.
I quite like them.
I really like them.
I like the M3.
I would like to have one, but not to abuse. It's kind of getting into the sort of thing where it's like,
Expensive.
you buy one to go out for dinner in.
Yeah. This is still something you could probably have a bit of a back end flick. You won't do it because you'll be too feared.
Too feared. I've got cars for doing that.
Exactly, but
This
you're
will be going for ice cream at Eyemouth.
with and me in the RS4 are the same.
Aye, and you'll be like passing me, and I'll be like,
You'll be like
okay.
sitting there like the old granddad,
Aye.
and I'll be like, whoa, and I'll be like, oh fuck, I better slow down.
With rainbows out exhaust because it's Audi.
Oh, there's plenty about that. No one cares.
Now we did that earlier.
So, again, they like their 1.6s as their bottom engine,
Oh yeah.
all the way up into the 3 litres, because that's it. But, you know, from 114 horse to 425, so this is where they're pinnacling more power. Same weights, pretty much as the previous model. But you had like the 30Ds and M Sports. They were doing a 5.6 second anyway. You know, they're fast as is.
Aye.
But this is where they really, like, it was like, you know, like the E92, the E46 M3, the E30 M3. This is where they changed it. So you were in the F30 model, but the M3 was actually the F80,
Yeah.
which you obviously know, which was a 3 litre inline 6 with 431 horsepower, and it did 0 to 60 in the fastest time of 4.1 seconds. But they made more of them. They made 35,000 of them nearly.
They're relatively cheap to buy right now. I think you can pick a cheap one up for about 18.
Yeah, I've got it written somewhere, but there's around... They didn't make many of the F30s, there was only about 375,000 made.
Yeah.
Starting costs again, 40 grand, still quite a hike. You can pick one up for 5 grand for a decent F30, but then M3s costed 60 grand to 86,000 new, depending on spec. But yeah, 30 grand for a good one now. And as Stuart said, 20 grand for one. 20 to 30 grand.
You can find one that's used and abused and they're kind of wanting rid of it.
But in 2013 was the last ever M3 coupe made in Germany, only to be the sedan version after.
Because they never made a 2-door F80.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, that was the end of the era in 2013 for the coupes.
Mm-hmm. And then we're on to the Gs.
The Gs, yeah, which
I
is
really like.
the newest ones. I don't. Yeah. They're nice. Still,
I think it's like Marmite. Like you love it or you hate it. Like I really like them.
Yeah.
I think I like them more as an F80. They see the G80s.
Aye. Yeah.
Like I'm weird.
They're
I know a lot of
actually,
people
they're
love
quite-
the G80 ones because it's new and it's like the touring and like
They are quite cool.
they're really cool.
Yeah.
But I love the G80s.
Like, I obviously prefer my Audis, but when I seen the touring come out in M3, that did spark an
They're
interest.
very wide.
They're very cool cars. So we're already putting that in. The G81 M3 Touring, very fucking cool car for me.
Very expensive.
Very, yeah, quite expensive at £97,000.
I just about got a shot of either that or an M5, but obviously you know the story. Like Michael bought the car.
Mm-hmm.
He says if you close this before the end of the year, this was like December. He says if you close this before the end of the year, I'll get you a free valet, because I was harping on about the M cars that were in the showroom. They had the brand new touring and all that. Like it was great, and he was like wanting him to close the deal. Like he was offering him money off the car and everything like that. It was a 440i he was buying. For the people that don't know, and I said to him cheekily, I says, if we do that, will we get a shot in an M3? And he says, if you close this in December, then without finance, then I will let you have a shot in an M Sport car.
Oh yeah, I remember you said, you were on about that.
And we went up for this valet. It was during the Christmas holidays, and it was still Peter Vardy at the time. It's no longer Peter Vardy.
No, they've changed.
And another Peter Vardy, I think he had said it was either Jaguar or a Range Rover. I think it was a Range Rover. The boy took a Range Rover out the road end, run straight into like a Jaguar F-Pace or something like that. Like fucking not a cheap car.
No.
They checked his licence and the licence was out of date. So I think it was just like they had to be careful.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting a shot of a really nice X6.
I remember that, because you phoned me when you were in it. Or I phoned you, one or the other.
All white leather. We were shit feared to go and do anything.
Oh no. One of my friends just got an M4 competition.
Who's that?
From Hoyk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's all white interior. I seen it, he came around the other day and that was the first thing I seen. I was like, oh, that is white. And he went, I love it. And I was like,
no.
That's gonna be horrible to keep clean.
No.
It's no easy. Yeah, black. If you sit in here, oily glows on, you don't know, it just looks a bit shiny.
Hence why I'm sitting in a t-shirt.
Yes.
I had a dusty hoodie on.
You
had a oily jacket on.
I had my oily jacket on. But yeah, in the Gs, we went from the 1.6 again up to the 3 litre twin turbos, which are the M's, because they are monsters.
Mm-hmm.
But their horse range at this point, 168 horse to 461 horse.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where it was interesting, right?
Okay.
Remember I was telling you, so we're talking of Alpinas here as well. So the fastest to 60 was a conjoint. Well, no, it wasn't completely conjoint. There was one that was fractionally faster. But the Alpina D3, was it the Alpina D3S ran a 3.9 seconds not to 60.
Was that the 46?
Which is which is actually faster than the petrol Alpina, which has 461 horse, and the diesel one only has 350. But it's all about torque at that point.
Right.
Diesel torque. So yeah, the 350 horsepower D3S actually does the 0 to 60 the same speed as the M3, which is a 510 horse twin turbo 6-cylinder,
Right.
which done a 3.9 seconds, and the Alpina does the same. But that's torque for you. But
I
then,
still find that hard to believe because obviously the new M3s are 4-wheel drive.
well, some of them are and some of them aren't. But yeah, again, that could have 510 horsepower, but 500, 600 newton meters torque. That could have 1,000 newton meters of torque, and it's going to do 0
I'm
to
just
60.
reading ahead. I think your statistics are a wee bit off. Because if
The-
you're finding an M3 that cheap,
That's not an M3. That's an M.
no, costs the M3
Yeah, to 100 grand.
up to 100 grand.
Well, yeah. But the Tourings are like 150, aren't they?
I don't think they're quite
Or
150.
130. Like, they're about 121,000 for a Touring.
They're just they're mental money now. Like,
I just looked into the M3 as like this. The Tourings are way more. Like, they are like 121 grand for a Touring.
I think they're in that ballpark. Like, I think the one that we seen was like 118.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like because you get them with the carbon bucket seats, you get them with like normal
Yeah.
seats. You get,
The
yeah.
Touring seems to be like the highest spec.
yeah.
They're cool though. They're so,
Inside the 3 litres,
so-
inside the 3 Series, yeah.
yeah. Alpinas though, like they're ranging from the 68,000 to 80,000. And then the normal ones are, again, it's like they had a very base price of 40 grand for the last 3 models for their bottom line to 62 grand. And the M3s, the Tourings and that, they're 1,780 kilo in weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to admit, I think for coolest of the coolest out of them all, it has to be the Touring.
Is G8 turn?
Has to, I'm sorry. For me, the coolest out of them all. So cool. But I like my bigger car. Like, I like a Touring or a wagon or a Vance. Whatever you want to call them.
I think realistically though, like if you did have the money for that, like if I had the option of buying like your age of RS4, like if they said, do you want the saloon one or do you want the estate one? You'd buy the estate one.
Oh yeah, it's more practical.
Yeah, exactly. Like the saloon, it's very cool. But I was wanting to take this to Ireland, and then like David and Hazel was just like, where the fuck are we putting 4 people's suitcases? I was just like,
oh yeah, because you were. Is this from?
And I said tie them to the roof. But
was that for Mandello?
yeah,
Wait, you were thinking taking this?
I was considering it. Yeah,
That'd been quite cool.
that would have been really cool.
That would have been
wouldn't
really cool.
Yeah.
I'd have respected that.
it? Yeah, but they want to take like a big fucking
Ooh.
Touring.
What, his one?
Gay.
Oh, can't say that.
Oh, sorry.
Gonna have to beep you. Unfortunately.
That's done.
That's the BMs. Now the equivalent, this is going to be fast because both you and I hardly fuck all about these things.
So the C class, you had that one. You had
all this jumble.
so.
Yeah.
Right, let's just say this, okay? The only cool C class.
This is, it wasn't even.
Hold on now. The only cool C class is the C63. And it's, in my opinion, the best sounding V8. I'm sorry.
I will give you it. I will give you it.
including BMW
I'm giving you
and
it.
Audi.
Yeah.
The C63 is the creme de la creme of noise. This
I'm so painfully agreeing with you.
The tone of them is amazing, but I can't afford one, so I'll never have
They're
one.
so shit,
they're
though.
shit. Yeah.
I hate
And
them.
I would hate to have to buy anything for a Mercedes.
But I'm sorry, but that is probably one of the coolest Mercedes ever made.
Isn't that called like a GTR or something?
No, that's the Evolution, which was actually designed by Cosworth, which was actually wasn't a C class, but it was actually what the C class was based off. The W201, which was the 190E, was actually the predecessor of the C class. That's where the C classes came from. But they were like, I had to speak about them because they were fucking awesome.
They were.
They were so cool.
I just about actually bought a C63.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I would have judged you.
But I'm very glad I didn't. Because it was crashed,
Ooh,
like the M3.
yeah,
It was nearly double the price of the M3.
yes. And probably way worse damage.
It was way worse damage, definitely. But have you ever seen any of the fucking parts of the price of that?
Anything Mercedes.
You may as well just bought a non-crashed one.
Yeah,
You weren't fixing that for yeah.
yeah,
Like you'd probably been like $1,000 better off by the time you'd fixed it.
yeah.
And I bet there was underlying damage
Probably.
at every turn.
And it was at that point a written off car.
It was a category car
Yeah.
as well. So yeah.
But so like the original like this, you know, there was near enough 1.9 million of them made between 82 and 83, 93. Their engines range from a 1.8, 2.3, 2.5, 2.6 and a 3.2. So it's quite like the BMs.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but they also had diesel ones, which they had their 2s, their 2.2s and 2.5s.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a very light BM. Their power classes from 113 horse to 197, which is more than BM.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a bit more power than BM. The Evo 2, which was that, had 235 horse, which was fucking loads. Out of a 2.5 cylinder, 2.5 4-cylinder,
Mm-hmm.
which was actually partially built by Cosworth, but AMG got their hands on it after, like, put an enhancement pack on. The rev to 7,200 was quite a lot. Max speed, limited, 155. Weighed 1340 kilo, 0 to 60, way faster than BM's at a 7.1.
Yeah.
As I say, Cosworth had built that engine for it. And AMG put their enhanced pack with the power pack in it, so it gave it that more oomph.
Aye.
Not sure what they all done to it, but I know that Cosworth built the base engine. Which is actually what brought us into the OG Compact, which was it's called,
Right.
which was 93 to 2000, and they made it in a sedan and estate, and also, you know, I think they just called them a compact. So we had the C180, which was at 1.8, 122 horse, 4-cylinder. We had the C200, again 4-cylinder, 100 there, you know. Then it was into the C36, which was a AMG, which was a 3.6 cylinder, 280 horse.
Mm.
That's not bad. It's not a bad figure. And then they had the
C43.
Yeah, which was the V8 4.3.
It was the beginning of the V8s.
Yeah, that was when they started making V8s. 306 horse, again limited. Weight 1,325 to 1,560.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they made 1.8 million of them overall.
Jesus.
They liked making a lot of cars. But BM at this point were making 2 million plus for their cars. The W203, which was 2000 to 2007, the modern makeover, they called it. This is where they really opened up. They had their sedans, their estates, their club sport, their sport coupes, and then later on they had the CLC,
Right.
a fancy style. But again, the C8, the C180, 1.8, 143. And then they brought out a V6 here, 3.2 V6, which actually had less power than the 3.2 V6 that VAG made. VAG made their 3.0 was probably, what in my eyes, one of the best sounding engines ever made. It
Right.
was the R32 engine in VAG.
Right.
That was 240 horse, and that was only 280 for the same size.
It's not a lot for a
and-
3.2.
And the same era. Really lazy engines. But again, the AMG, the C32 AMG, which was the V6 again, but that had 354 horse, but I think it's because they were turboed.
Mm.
Or supercharged maybe. I think the SC stands for supercharger.
Mercedes does love a supercharger.
They do.
They've got all the compressor
In fact,
series.
It's actually quite obvious, yes. So they had a supercharged V6 3.2 litre AMG, which was 354 horse, which was wild. Weighed pretty much the same as the last one, really. bit heavier overall. The AMG was quite heavy at 1620, but 2 million made.
Oh.
They stepped it up. We're having to do this quickly because we're running out of time. 2007 to 2014, they had the W204, which was the tech savvy contender. So
Right.
obviously this is where things got fancy. Again, sedan estate coupe.
Yeah.
Same as BM really
Yeah.
at this point. They got rid of the C180 and just changed it for the C200 CGI. I don't know what the CGI stands for, but that's like, you think of, when I hear CGI, I think of something CGI animated on like cartoons and stuff.
I don't think that it's the same thing.
No, I don't think so. But 184 horse out of a 1.8.
Turbo though.
Yeah, turbo. Back with the V6s, but they bored them out to a 3.5 at the C350, 306 horse, quite respectable.
306 or 360?
306,
Oh, right, okay.
respectable enough. But this is where it.
C63.
63 AMG, a 6.2 litre V8, which ranged. I don't know if it's because they must have power pack, like they must have like, if you paid £10,000, you'd get the power pack mod, which would take up to more power. But they ranged from 457 horse to 507. So they must have had some optional extra
That is fast though as well.
it's a lot of power.
Oh yeah.
But they were heavy, very very heavy.
Yeah.
But 2.4 million models of that era made, like a
Wow.
lot.
That's surprising for how many you see, to be fair.
Not the AMG, like I mean, not in.
Oh, right. Oh,
that's
I
just
see.
collectively.
Ah,
I couldn't
right.
really find.
An AMG breakdown.
Yeah, there was not as like, it's not as made out. But that's just mental. That like a 6.2, and that is. They were awesome sounding. In fairness,
Yeah.
I would say the newer ones sounds way better, but they still sounded pretty wild for the. I think they were natural aspirated as well.
I'm sure, to be fair.
Yeah, I think they are. But brings us into the W205, which is a 2014 to 2021. I think this, in fairness, this was the AMG in this was why they were mental sounding. I think
Oh, yeah.
purely just down to sound, they looked alright. I'm not gonna beat about the bush. They weren't hideous, but they weren't great in my eyes.
I think you pay for, like, the interior with a Mercedes.
They
like,
had a
they're very-
wild interior. It was a fucking crazy interior. But I have to admit, they sounded so awesome. They are getting a cool from me.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Just because they sounded so ridiculous. But again, sedan estate coupes, same things. But this is where they dropped it down to a 1.5 turbo. EQ boost, which must have been electric. Must have been like a hybrid, but 180 horse.
Right.
You know, and then they're 2 litres with 258 horse. Like they seem to push a lot of power out their cars.
Yeah.
And then the C63 4 litre bi-turbo V6 AMG, 476 to 510
V8,
horse.
you mean?
What did I say?
V6.
A V8. Yep, but same sort of power scale.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more. Like they offered a bit more.
Just a bit more, though.
Yeah, just a 3 horse more overall, but like bottom line, you know,
Yeah.
20 horse more. But yeah, they sounded wild. But yeah, 2.5 million of them made, like of the W205s. There's a lot of them, and then to the one that is to present now, which was 21 to present, which is the W206. I've never been a Mercedes fan.
No.
Like I'm not gonna beat about the bush. It's why we don't have a huge amount of knowledge in them. Like
No.
our BM knowledge, we were going off what we actually knew about them already.
Yeah. For the most part.
More Stuart. But we are also on a bit of a time scale. I do apologise, everyone. But you know, again, there's still the sedan estate, but they actually got rid of the coupe and went for an all-terrain, so it must be an SUV. Again, the 1.5 turbo with the, I'm guessing EQ stands for an electrical thing, but 204 horse. The 2 litre turbo, Q boost, 258. And then this is the weird part. So the AMG went to fucking mad heights at this point. Like, their new AMG's got serious power out of a 2-litre turbo.
Right.
680 horse. It's a plug-in hybrid. So the 2-litre turbo was probably actually just generating power.
So C63 is now a plug-in hybrid.
Mm-hmm. That's really shit. Unfortunately, and they weigh 2,185 kilo. Mercedes, what are you playing at?
I prefer my cars to run on dead dinosaurs.
You have dinosaur slippers at home, so you live the dinosaur life.
Oh yeah.
I agree. I prefer my car living off dead dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm sorry, you went from something that sounded awesome, unfucking believable.
The best sounding car on the roads.
The LF.
Sub 6 figures.
I would say my favourite car sounding's the Lexus LFA V10.
Oh, okay, right.
Unreal. But that, for
That's
V8s...
mega rare though, like an LFA.
The V8s, like, I like the sound of the RS6 C7s. It's a twin turbo V8. They sound naughty.
They sound good.
They sound very naughty, but you just can't. That bloody AMG.
BMW, Audi, Mercedes.
Now the German lot.
It's the best sounding engine.
Oh, yes.
In my opinion, engine sound wise, C63 takes the win.
Out of the V8s, I prefer an R32 V6. Personally, I like the sound of the V6s. I don't know why.
No, if we're on about V8s.
But V8s, yeah.
I think the way it went was definitely Mercedes. And then
Audi. Sorry, what?
I think the 92 wins it by your Audi just by a ball hair. It's just the tone they make. I get yours is very throaty, but
Yep. It's
I kind of like the tone.
Yeah, no, that's. At least we both agree that unfortunately the Mercedes does beat our favourite cars
but
for noise.
You can basically double your price tag of your RS4 for a Mercedes C63.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna stick to BMW.
Yeah. So for me, the BMs, as we know, E36. I think I just like an E36. I do like an E36, but I think the new one is
hard to beat. They're nice square.
Yeah. It goes with the 46 M3 and probably the G82. Oh, sorry. The G81. Nah, the G81. I think that's probably my favourite BM ever.
You think the G81?
Touring, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's probably my favourite BM ever made. Like, I think if we were going by singular, yes, but model-wise, the 36 will win.
Yeah.
For me, they're the coolest. E30s are still very cool. 46s, the M3s are very cool. I think the majority of 46s I'm not a fan of hugely.
No.
I would put them in a kind of middle area along with the 21s.
It's hard to beat the simplicity, niceness of the 46. They're not overly complicated.
No, they're not. This is a wee bit more complicated than one of them.
Yeah, I was surprised. Obviously, I've been working on them for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it came to this, just wasn't like madly different. Obviously, like everything is in the same place, but everything just looks different.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of room in this.
There is.
Like, think of the activities I could do, and like I could probably.
You're probably comparing it to the coupe sitting in front of us, where you've literally got to like slide in over metal bars.
Yeah, but that's no. I mean, in general, like this is like, I could probably turn around and do a headstand quite comfortably.
I wish you wouldn't, because you'll probably make marks everywhere.
I would not do that. I'll take my shoes off.
No, you're not doing that.
What if I accidentally spawned upside down? I don't know if I could do that. Like, I was just gonna like turn around and do a fucking front flip or something.
No, you're not doing that.
Through to the back seats.
No.
I'll see what I can do. No, there's like, I'm sitting here and there's like so much room
in
between my front
For the
knees.
viewers, there's about 10 inches between Alistair's knee and the dash.
If that. It's a half a foot, anyway.
It's a mere 6 inches, that.
Ah, yeah, actually, it's point, because that's about 6, 7 there. Ah, it's probably about 7, 8 inch.
On that note,
it's time to end. Thank you for watching, everybody. That was is it shit or not? Mercedes made a cool car, but majority of it is shit. Sorry,
Yep.
Mercedes. I'm not a fan. The Evo 2, fucking awesome, legendary Mercedes. The noise of the C63, legendary. But the rest are shit in my eyes. Like, well, not shit, but they're not great. Like, to be honest, I don't think we actually had a shit car talked about today, bar the car. Sorry. But the majority of the cars are on a mid base. There's the M's, like M3s are pretty cool. There's ones I think are cool or not. What about yourself? What are you thinking?
I think a 3 Series is not shit. It's a win all round.
Yeah, they're not shit. They are definitely not shit. They made good cars. Like, unfortunately, like, contender-wise, Mercedes definitely made faster cars. Because they were not to 60s were faster.
They were faster, but I think BMW's always had this sort of
Nimble.
track speed.
Yeah, they were more nimble.
But anyway, I think it's time for pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah.
I had soup before coming out. I made chicken soup. Homemade chicken soup. And it's first soup ever. And it was well good.
I came straight from work, so.
Well, I've been working all day here.
Yeah.
At my unit. Aye. So anyways, guys, comment down what you guys think and what you guys liked. And see who all agrees. We don't care if you don't agree with us.
Okay.
We don't actually care. So comment away all you want. You can tell us that we are wrong, but we don't care. As you can see, we don't care.
I'm going for pizza.
Pizza. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a nice day.